Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL Podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back to the DCL Podcast. I have been corralled into talking to two of my favorite people in the DCL community and helping out with the DCL Podcast. So hello, everybody. Steve back with you guys again. And I get the fun job of interviewing both Christy. How are you doing tonight, Christy?
I am well, Steve. How are you?
And also another one of my favorite guests, Amber. How are you doing tonight, Amber?
What's happening, Steve? Good to see you back.
Good to see you. I can't wait to hear about the French fries. But before we jump into French fries, no, didn't try. Oh, well, we'll get to it. I don't need to do any spoilers. So, Christy, what are we talking about tonight?
We are talking about the beautiful Disney treasure,
which you guys got to just go on and experience.
Yeah, we did a 3-night hosted by Disney preview cruise. And I specifically was hosted on behalf of my travel agency that I am with by Disney Cruise Line. So thank you, Disney. It was a lot of fun.
And I was hosted by Christy. Thank you, Christy.
Christy, Blake, and Dave.
Yes, and Amber.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've decided to call it The Spare, my family in The Spare. And we had Nova as The Spare 2 years ago on the Wish, and we have Amber as The Spare. And I think Lake is already lined up to be the spare on my next. I've got my list.
Oh, dang it.
I know, but just get yourself on the list. Oh, I'm surprised. Amber, you were here to come again? You would go?
Yes.
It's always tough, right? Rooming with other people and with the whole family. Blake listening to sleepy time music, right next to Amber. And
that put me to sleep too, so it's fine.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that's good. I have a plan too. If I get the Destiny preview, I can just take all my friends because we would then be cruising on the Destiny as a family a couple of weeks later or something. And I don't need to take Blake out of school just before we're about to go on the ship. So yeah, now we can fill the cabin with friends.
Do it with me. I mean, only do it with me.
Yeah. You, Steve, Blake.
Request that the, what's the biggest suite called on the treasure?
No, we don't get a say. So yeah, let's start with the cabin that we were assigned. The cabin, so you're just assigned a cabin. There's another podcast host that was in a family veranda, or in a regular veranda rather. Everybody that was invited as a travel professional that I could tell was in a veranda cabin. We were in a family veranda, which I'm super excited about because I had the 5th sleeper and gave us a little bit more space, more storage, which we'll talk about in a minute. I don't even know what we would have done with the clothes if we did not have that 5th sleeper storage. But then Amber could sleep in that bed, which was
very cozy.
Yeah, it's big enough. I think Nova slept in that on your other cruise, right? Am I correct on that? Or my own?
She did. No, she wasn't in the 5th sleeper. She was on the bottom bunk, and she was it was definitely cozy.
Okay, I know she slept on the 5th sleeper bed before, and she is very tall, and I know that she's fit on that. So that's good to know that if you have some bigger adults or some bigger kids with you, if you want to plan for the future, those family verandas are very comfortable. So before we jump into all you guys' experience, just a couple things. I've been out of the loop a little bit with the Disney Treasure. What's your guys' take? The Disney Treasure is obviously the sister ship to the Disney Wish. What is your guys' take? What's kind of been the vibe of the Treasure? People excited about it? What are people excited about? What are you kind of hearing in the travel community, Christy and Amber?
I think people are even more. I think people were always excited about it. People love a new ship. A new Disney ship is even better. But I think people, after some of the little things are coming out now about the ship, I think people are even more excited about it, personally.
I agree 100%.
I know there's been a lot of talk about the Haunted Mansion bar. People excited about that. And Coco restaurant, kind of a different theme coming to the Treasure, plus just the overall vibe of the ship as well. So I'm excited to kind of hear what you guys' experiences are in those different places. So, and then before we jump into it as well, just as far as the preview cruise, Christy, kind of just to give people kind of a concept, obviously as travel professionals, gives a chance for you guys to come on, experience the ship, and then get the word out to your clients and whatnot. But is the ship full, just kind of for perspective? And do they run most of what's available, or is it kind of about half, or what would you gauge?
Yeah, so the ship is half full, and they are doing a lot of media things. So there would be spaces much of the bars and the atrium and all the different places were taken up at various times to do video recording. So it is most of the schedule is available, but it is half full ship, and maybe not everything is readily available for everybody to use.
Okay, so just to put it in perspective, as far as like we talked about the restaurants, one of the things about the Wish is it can be kind of tight in some of the restaurants. So you may not have experienced that on this, but you're able to experience all the different things that they are, the different restaurants, the food and whatnot out to get that back out to people. So cool. So
yeah,
this
we
was
must
not
have smelled because all the tables around us were empty.
It looked amazing. The restaurant, at least in the corner where we were,
Yeah.
was super empty. So it was great.
Yeah, they definitely did not give us special privilege of a nice table being on this preview cruise. We were in the corner, like almost the furthest back we could be in every restaurant. So
well, that's good because then you can bring that perspective to everybody and go like, get up right up in the front.
I mean, right, if you want to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you don't want that also. So okay, well, cool. So this is a 3-night cruise. Did you guys stop? You guys stopped at Castaway Key? Any place else? You stopped at Nassau? Okay,
Nope,
so
we had a
day at
sea
sea. Okay, perfect. Sea day and Castaway Key. Perfect for a preview cruise. So let's just jump into it. What was your overall thoughts about the Treasure? Let's start with you, Amber.
I'm going to steal Dave's snippet thought about my thoughts because he said it perfectly. I think with the Wish, I remember the first time I went on the Wish, I liked it, but I was just like, where am I? What's happening? I don't know where the bathrooms are. I'm uncomfortable here. And now that I've been on the Wish a few times, and now that I've been on its copycat sister, the Treasure, I was immediately comfortable and I immediately loved it. And in my opinion, it's like a teeny bit better than the Wish. And the Wish is amazing. And this is like better than amazing. So I think the Treasure might be my new favorite.
Ooh.
I'm not sure though.
How about you, Christy?
Well, really quick before we move on, who would be second in your favorite? Like who is
The Wish was my favorite, which is weird because like I said, I remember when I first went on it, I was like, this is okay.
The Wish was your favorite. I feel like the Treasure has to be your favorite.
I know,
Because
that's why
you like more of the things that the Treasure has.
True. But you know how like you have to pick your favorite child and it's hard. I assume I only have one child. Maybe Steve could chime in on this. It's like they're all so great, and I've only done the Treasure for 3 days and not everything was even available, as Steve was referring to, but I think it's my new favorite. It's amazing. A plus, 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 plus.
That's good to hear. Christy, how about you?
Yeah, so I've talked about this in some of the previews or the preview to my going on the cruise, that I felt like the concept art for the Grand Hall was a little bit dark. And when you get in there, it's not dark, really. Like, I guess I didn't feel like it was dark once you were there in real life. So my initial reaction was, oh, wow, it's a little bit different. Like, oh, even when they wave you on board, like announce your name as you're entering the ship, they are in like adventure wear and not in their officer uniforms. Remember that, Amber? We even discussed, I was like, oh, they're wearing different clothes. It's almost
I don't
like,
remember them ever wearing those ever again, but maybe
well,
I
I don't think they wore those clothes ever again either.
Okay.
But it felt like something you would see in a restaurant, or maybe that was like the clothes that they wear in one of the bars. Although I don't know what bar they would have worn those clothes.
I loved the Grand Hall. It was, I kind of forgot what the Wish Grand Hall looked like maybe, but does the Wish have all those like tile mosaics on all the columns and stuff like that?
I don't think
The
so.
tile
Not like
work
this
was, like,
has.
Really up a notch. It was beautiful. And I'm not one to be like, oh, that's so beautiful. The aesthetics, but it was beautiful. And I loved it.
So yay, aesthetics.
Yes.
How about the lobby statue? No? Okay. Amber?
Okay.
I'm with the on Christy.
But
All
I
right.
really like how the lobby statue is to the side now, like by the stairs and taking up less of a footprint. And I like that there's plant life all around it, like in front and the back. And that was a thing they did a lot on this ship, just plants. Like there were plants in the art. Like we'll talk about that. But there was just green space everywhere, or more green space, I should say. And I really appreciated that aspect of it.
I did notice that even on deck 4, where there's just like, cozy couches to hang out with, there was just like plants everywhere. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm not a huge like Aladdin and Jasmine fan, but it was so, and the fact that the statue was floating, it was cool. it was just fine. It was fine.
So let's run with that. So kind of like that Adventureland feel, sort of that treasure heading out on an adventure that they kind of gone with Captain Minnie and her outfit as well. Talk a little bit about the artwork because I think that was one of the big things about the Wish when it first came out and people got on board was just how beautiful she was and all the artwork that they attached to it. So you've got greenery. Christy, talk a little bit about the artwork around the ship.
I would like more time to spend looking at the artwork, honestly. I don't know why I didn't do that during the one, like, there was like one day, I don't remember when it was, that we had nothing to do for a short period of time that I wish I would have. I think Amber was in the movies too, that I should have just went into the stairwell and looked at artwork. There was one as we were leaving to go out to Castaway Key. So on the gangplank, like the staircase, whatever the last set of stairs were that would have artwork going downstairs. This like montage to Walt Disney with a whole bunch of his pictures. And I just thought that was really cool. And then they had like a giant, like green grass. I mean, Amber touched it. And so I'm sure it's fake.
It was like fake moss.
Yeah. Up to like huge, like remember, from The Wish, Steve, how in the stairwells, if there was a big piece of art, how it took up like the whole stairwell wall.
Mm-hmm.
It was that size. It was giant and 2D, right? Because it stuck out.
Yeah, I mean, like this fake moss was like, and it was like different types of and different colors of fake moss just to make Tafiti's face and her hand was like reaching out to something. I will say, Christy, I don't think you made it up there. I was on deck 14 and there was a huge, I'm not even sure what it was, and I should have taken a picture of it. I think it was Star Wars, but it was very like abstract and random, and I should have taken a picture of it. So that was really cool because it was just so random. And then there was some Treasure Planet art of all things on one of the stairwells. So that was like out of nowhere. We're representing Treasure Planet.
Wait, what's a Treasure Planet?
Oh my goodness.
Oh no,
All
it's a
right, let's
movie.
cut that out and move on.
Any other artwork stick out to you, Amber?
There was one of those giant things like Christy was saying that took up the whole wall of like Coco, and it looked like it was like lit up, but it wasn't. It was just the colors. They were like very neon-y. It was super snazzy. Oh, Christy took a picture of it was on deck 4 or 5. It was right by Hook's Barbary, I think. It was like 3D. It looked like paper on top of each other, like layers of paper. And at first it just looked like cool fish underwater scene. And then when you look closer, there was like hidden Aladdin lamp, hidden apple from Snow White. It was very random hidden things. We were trying to figure out if there was like a theme, like if these are things from the treasure, but we never really figured it out. But that was pretty cool just to find the hidden things.
And that artist Nicholas that did the Cindy's on The Wish did a Jasmine. And I don't have the name of the art piece right now, but he did a gorgeous giant Jasmine picture that he did like in his own way, right? If you recall. And if you guys haven't seen the Cindy's piece, just Google Cindy's artist Disney Wish and you'll see it. He basically makes these Cinderellas all representing every different woman, different sizes and ethnicities, and it's amazing. So he did, like in that same spirit, a picture for Jasmine and made her like ready to take on the world and not need a man. And it was just really cool. Like he talked about it in the interview that they did during the travel trade meeting. And it was great. And the picture is really cool. And he's got some hidden Easter eggs in that artwork. So it's worth it to just go and stare. They do have, and one of our listeners asked, they do have that artwork kiosk again where you could go and buy artwork. So if that's something that you wanted. And then they also did a piece of art with the 5 ships. Amber didn't love that one. And I can't tell what my opinion about it was, but it was like tropical.
Yeah, like the 5 ships were like in the Amazon, which I guess I get because it's like adventure, skipper, society, but it was just weird. Like, why are the ships by like a toucan and stuff? I don't know. It was still cool, but I don't want it at my house.
And it's like the when it was, I guess it's 6 ships now, right? But when when they did the Wish piece that's like in Norway, well, is the Wish ever going to Norway? Or the 5, right? They have all the 5 ships, which it really, I guess they don't send all 5 ships everywhere. They should just make pictures of all 5 ships in the Bahamas because that's where Disney apparently likes to sail on repeat.
Amazing.
Only to NASA. Well, I mean, I guess I would say that for the Wish, they've got Arendelle on board for the restaurant so that you've got that Nordic theme. And then also the bar. I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank on the bar where you can get beers and stuff like that. It's sort of Nordic themed as well. But all right, before we talk about the room, no,
Keg and
Tiana's
Compass?
Keg and Compass. It's kind of it's a little Nordic themed up there, I thought.
No, but even no.
Am I missing that one?
I think
thought
you're
there was
missing
like
that
a
one.
Nordic. Okay, not okay. All right, let's move forward then. Steve, it's been too long since I've been on the Wish. It means I need to go back on the Wish again. So before we talk about the rooms, was there anything different as far as like the boarding process? Like with the Wish, you have you get your wands and do the magic stars. Anything different with the sail away party or anything like that they did for you guys?
No magic wands.
Yeah, nothing fun that they gave out in the atrium when you boarded or Grand Hall.
Okay. Sail away party,
And
anything
the sail
different?
away, Amber made me go to it. And the only, like, I don't go to sail away parties. I'm sure the last time I went, somebody made me go. It was either Anthony or Nova. And I like it when they count down and say, "You're on vacation." But they didn't do that. They basically sing a new song and they just sing that new song. And I don't think it wasn't, in my opinion, related to the treasure at all.
Okay.
I bet it's the same song they are doing on every ship.
Yeah, it felt familiar to me, but I couldn't. Also, and this might be sail away or not, I never once heard the horn.
Oh,
Just like the normal toot, though, right? No songs.
Oh, yeah.
Because the treasure's supposed to have like "Remember Me" as a horn. And maybe I just missed it, but
maybe it was
I never
broken.
heard a horn ever.
Because there were some reports that there were some maybe electrical things that weren't quite working the way they intended.
Okay.
Which might be evidenced by when we disembarked and the atrium flooded, or the Grand Hall
right.
flooded. We're just going to call it the atrium or Grand Hall. We're going to use those words simultaneously and people just have to get over it.
I just call it the lobby, like old school person. So that's me.
For those who didn't see it, the fire alarm or the fire sprinklers went off and flooded the lobby after you guys got off.
For several minutes.
So good. That's a good point for everybody sailing in the first couple sailings. Pack your patience. I think everybody kind of knows now. Most of the stuff is probably going to work, but some things there'll be some kinks that they'll be working out for the first couple sailings and maybe in a couple months.
If you are in cabin 7154, we apologize in advance, but you need to go and talk to your stateroom attendant and get your refrigerator working because we forgot to tell them on the last day, but I'm pretty sure the beverage cooler warmed our water and I didn't even realize it until like the last night. So like we even offered some to Amber, "Here, drink this water." And it was like stale, warm, disgusting water that I didn't realize we were giving her.
It was kind of like when we were on the Adventures by Christy when we were going through Naples and you walk by the little stores where they had water in a cooler, but there was no cool about it. It was just water in a cooler that didn't work. So,
right.
All right, let's jump into the rooms. Obviously, you guys had the family veranda, the larger room, probably similar to what the Wish had. Any differences? Obviously, the artwork's a little bit different. What room did you guys get? And what were some of the differences that stood out to you, Christy? Now, these are going to be 7-night sailings versus 3 and 4 nights. So what stood out to you, Christy?
What stood out is that we asked for more storage and got less storage. I need Amber to make one of those memes where we can do best we can do, take storage away. So you know how on the Wish, there was the closet with the 4 shelves? We now have 2 shelves, if that. I guess there were 2 shelves there maybe, and 2 little drawers. And if you're going on the treasure, I would bring your clothes on a hanger already, like fold them into your suitcase on a hanger and just hang them up because there's literally nowhere to put your clothes. I don't even know how you would put a family of 5 or a family of 4, for example. Let's say you didn't have the family veranda with the extra set of cupboard or closet storage shelves that's on the 5th sleeper. You only have like 3 desk drawers and then the 2 in the closet and 2 shelves. And you're supposed to put a family of 4 in there for a week. Remember, I'm just, everybody, longtime listeners are probably screaming when I was talking about the Polynesian hotel. And I'm like, where do you put your underwear? Because there's no drawers. And it's the same concept. So this guy's like, well, there's shelves. You can put your stuff on the shelves. I'm like, am I putting my underwear like on a shelf open faced into the cabin? Like,
I mean, I guess if I'm just with my family, my underwear is all over the place on open shelves. But when you have extra people like me, I guess you want to like put it away.
I don't have like, they're not things that need to be hidden necessarily, except also I don't need all of my clothes just like staring at us in the stateroom. So for example, I did the tours of some of the different cabins. Like I got to see the royal suites. They're gorgeous, of course. And then I saw the concierge. So the lead-in concierge cabin, which is the family veranda, which sleeps 5. But because the bed is bigger, and this is going to be important for people that listen that stay in concierge, which I thought the bed in our cabin was perfectly adequately sized. But because the bed is bigger, that storage shelf unit that's in the 5th sleeper is gone. And it's just a 5th sleeper. It's like king size bed, little nightstand, couch, regular size couch, and then 5th sleeper. And the set of shelves that Amber had next to her bed doesn't exist. And that shelving unit is like floor to ceiling. So there's at least like, if you have that shelving unit in your room because you have a family veranda with the 5th sleeper, I feel like you're okay on shelves. You have a place to put all the clothes. But without it, I would honestly recommend you, and there's all these people in these Facebook groups that are like, you need to bring this on vacation and this on vacation. And typically I'm like, don't bring any of that crap. But in this case, I would bring one of those like sweater holders that you can strap over a closet hook, because there's so much hanging closet space that nobody's going to ever have that much hanging clothes. So unless you want to live out of your suitcases, bring one of those storage, whatever, you can put pants or sweaters, I feel like people put, and you can attach it to your closet and drop it down, and then you can shove everybody's clothes in little cubbies there.
Although I will say, make sure you bring something with Velcro that Velcros to your thing, because I brought the thing with the hooks and that got confiscated.
Good to know.
You like recently on this cruise?
Not this cruise, but like a year ago.
Yeah, they don't want anything that's going to scratch anything.
Right. I brought it on other cruise ships and it's made it, but apparently Disney, it got confiscated.
So another good point. You can always, if you don't have enough hangers, you can always ask your stateroom host to get more hangers. They'll bring you more hangers. Let's pivot a little bit. Amber, what was the theme of the room? And I don't mean to put you on the spot this way, but what did you think of the bathroom? How was that? Kind of similar to the Wish?
We had a Aladdin themed room, which Christy was a huge fan of because our fish extender was a bug, like the scarab. She's a big bug fan.
These are lies. She's
and then
speaking
bugs
lies.
on the carpet. She loved it.
Yeah, there were bugs everywhere. So
the bathroom, I think, was the same. We had the toilet room and the shower room, and the shower had a glass door, and it swung forward and backwards. That was nice because those bathrooms are super tiny. I didn't get to go in other rooms like Fancy Pants Christy, but other rooms we could tell from the carpet were Lion King, Nemo, and something with butterflies. I'm still unclear about that.
Pocahontas.
Okay, Pocahontas.
They told me that in my thing. And there's some Encanto rooms, I believe they said. So I know we went back and forth on Encanto, and I'm pretty sure they said Encanto as well. I recorded that part, I think. So Patreons will get to listen to that. But the carpet for each of those floors through the floor matches the theme, whatever theme they have going on. I saw a picture too, somebody posted of the Nemo room. And oh man, that picture is bright and gorgeous, the under the sea. So if you have a Nemo floor, which those were medium, like in the middle, they had to be in the middle. Bugs. If you have a lower floor, you get bugs. I actually don't know. I don't know what floors anything we're on, but there were the Nemo ones and then bugs. And then
let's tease this out. Christy's going to be on a 7-night sailing in January.
Yes.
So make sure to come back and listen after that, and you'll be able to experience 7 nights in the room and maybe have some more tips for people who are sailing later on the Treasure on one of these longer sailings. So let's jump into one other thing. So you get to see a couple other different rooms. Did you get to see the concierge lounge or any part of the concierge aspects of the ship? How was that?
Yeah, I got to see the concierge lounge, and it is Star Wars themed, which is like it has, so there's the outdoor deck, and even inside has this like Star Warsy mural. I guess there's this very pretty, they're very excited about it, lightsaber artwork that's in the lounge. I'll take a picture of it. I didn't take any pictures this time because I'm not in concierge and I was able to come in, but I wasn't right. Like, it wasn't that all travel agents weren't allowed in. Concierge host was there that I had just been seen and sailed with over Labor Day. And so she was like, oh, hi, would you like to come in to see the lounge? To which I said, yes, please. So I wasn't taking pictures or doing any of these things, right? But, and then there on the upstairs in the pool deck, there was a mural like Star Warsy, you were in the desert. It was
Tatooine.
Maybe. I'll take a picture. You're in a desert, Star Wars desert. But everything about the lounge otherwise looks the same from my vantage point.
Okay, let's jump into the restaurants. So 2 of the restaurants are the same. Actually, four of the restaurants are the same, including Enchanté and Aloe. Then we have 1923, and then we also have Worlds of Marvel. Let's start with Coco, since that's the newest. Amber, let's talk about the ambiance in the show. And Christy, I'll have you hit the food because then I'm going to be able to talk about the gluten-free stuff. So, Amber, what was your thoughts about Coco, the ambiance, the room, the setup, and everything else?
I'm obsessed with everything about it. It is amazing. It replaces Aaron, like you said. So there's that super long hallway that you walk down to get to it. Just everything about it's beautiful. The bathrooms down the hallway are beautiful. There's decorations all down the hallway. There's a huge ofrenda once you get into the restaurant. It's massive. And then all along the restaurant, the walls are painted. Like one was just like some decorative swirlies. Another one I noticed, there were like Mexican like wrestling masks on the wall. And that was our corner. We didn't get to walk around. And then there's windows in the way back where we were. And there was like giant bulb lights all around it. And then halfway through the night, like some skulls appeared out of light.
What? Where was I during that?
Skull lights. I might have taken a picture.
Maybe I was just eating my food because you stopped eating food.
It was, and then I made the choice of eating real quick and leaving so I could go see Haunted Mansion Bar. And just like walking down the hall to leave by myself was just so cool because like no one's there. I'm in this super cool hallway. I got the friend to myself. As I was walking, I'm like, would I book a treasure cruise just to go to this restaurant? That seems silly to spend thousands of dollars to do that, but it crossed my mind. So I loved it.
Well, let's not give away the show, but did you guys get to experience the show and what were your thoughts on it?
I'm not going to lie, I wasn't really paying attention.
You were thinking of the Haunted Mansion Bar.
Well, I think we were so far away and like I could see it and I was aware of what was going on, but I wasn't like watching it. I was like eating and listening and glancing and eating and looking around, if that makes sense.
So for those, I was gonna say just real quick. So for those, some people don't want to do the show all the time, or maybe they see the show once or twice and they just want to be able to have dinner and not have the show kind of impede their dinner. So maybe there's a little bit of both there.
Yeah, they should have our table.
It impeded nothing for me.
No, yes, but I understand that if you were closer to the stage, because one of our listeners was on, I think, the previous preview cruise to ours, their table was closer to the stage, and she said it made it impossible to have a conversation at all. But if you are in the back corner, you are still able to converse with everybody. So maybe if you want more conversation, request the back corner. And I'm not even necessarily being funny, but we were able to sort of see the show. Blake said he liked the show. And I was like, wow, you were listening or paying attention? He's like, I enjoyed it. And it was going on. And there was like a storyline to it, but we weren't paying that closely attention to it. There are some structural changes to this restaurant. I don't feel that there was any changes to any of the other restaurants. They moved the serving stations outside, like behind the walls. And I will say that we heard that they might do that from some people at Disney on the cruise ship from previous cruises, that they were hoping to move the serving station behind the walls. They also, I feel like there's one big tree. And I said this in the snippet show. And if you're behind the tree, I'm sorry, because it's probably unlikely that you're going to be able to see the stage. But besides the people right behind the tree, I think the poles are potentially small enough where everybody else should be able to see enough. Even if you're in the back corner, you could see if you wanted to.
Okay, good to know about that. Because that's definitely been an issue on the Wish as far as some people being able to see the show. Okay, let's pivot to the food. Obviously, there's Donald's Cantina on the Wish and also on the Treasure, which is sort of Chipotle-ish. What was your thoughts of the food down at Coco's?
It was also amazing. So I had all 4 appetizers and no other foods. So my appetizers were empanadas, enchiladas, which were fantastic.
And like big, good sized items.
Like I ate the enchiladas first, and that was a huge mistake because they were so delicious and I was full. Like it was massive. And I managed to keep eating, of course. Empanada, delicious. They had guacamole, which was not that delicious, but a child would like it because it's pretty bland. And then they had a random like cold shrimp dish, which was fine. But I think the other stuff was just so much better that by my fourth appetizer, I didn't eat any more shrimp. I look forward to going back so I can actually eat the carnitas, which was on the main menu, because that looked amazing. I think Christy had that.
I did. I gave you a bite, right? Did I not give you a bite? Did you not take a bite?
Full.
Oh my God. You missed out. Carnitas from that menu was the best food I ate during our cruise. I would eat those carnitas every single day. They also had chicken tortilla soup, which I've always had as like maybe a tomato base, but like a tomato broth base and not thick like tomato sauce base. And this was thick tomato sauce and it was not good. Maybe it'll improve one day or change, but currently it was not my favorite. It was, if you like a lovely tomato based chicken tortilla soup, this might be the dish for you. They also did not put any like in mine, maybe because of gluten-free, but I didn't get any tortilla chips in it or anything like that. The tortilla chips that are served at the table, which is slightly frustrating, they're not sure if it can be gluten-free safe. And so they don't serve you those, but there are blue tortilla chips that come with the guacamole appetizer, unless you're Amber and you only got 2 chips with that appetizer. Those are gluten-free safe. And it's corn tortilla chips. Like there's 1 million companies that make certified gluten-free corn tortilla chips. Like Disney, just pick another darn company to get your tortilla chips. It's like the one thing that's easy to make gluten-free. Why are they making it difficult for themselves? The guy, our server, like as soon as we sat down, brought out they ripped off the package and brought it out to show me. So I have a picture of that if anybody wants to see it. But it basically is like made in a facility that processes a whole bunch of other things. They don't say that that it has gluten in it, but they don't say that it doesn't. And so, Disney's always very careful, whatever. The blue chips are fine. And then the desserts at this restaurant for gluten-free were like, oh, and Amber had dessert too, but were the best. Like they get the creamy mousse, get the apple-y one. It's like they actually used ingredients to make, like they made unique desserts that also have sugar in them, because sometimes they'll use a sugar substitute, which I understand is needed for those people that need to eat that. But this one, basically, like these desserts covered the top 7 allergens and were amazingly delicious, which I feel like is difficult to do.
Was the mousse that like dome thing that you had?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super good. I had churros. They were churros caliente, but they weren't that caliente. They were just delicious. I'm assuming they're the same as on the Wish in 1923. And I think they're delicious there and they're delicious in Cocoa.
So for those of us that like a little bit more spicy, could you do that? Do they have like hot sauce or anything like that to maybe spice up the food? But it sounds like it's flavorful anyways.
Yeah, we didn't like ask for anything. So I don't know if that's an option.
Yeah,
That's
we
okay.
didn't ask for anything, but also It wasn't like offered.
Okay. But flavorful, it sounds like, and good.
The carnitas, man. There is like a tomato. It's a very tomato forward menu, but there's a tomato pasty something that were served with the carnitas that like they should put on everything. Whatever they did for that was amazingly delicious. So everybody get the carnitas. Eat all the things that come in the little dishes on the side. Just eat them. Eat it all.
I think they should hand out a little guitar for each one of the kids as they head back to the room at night too, just to keep the parents happy. All right.
The menu was a guitar.
It was.
Oh, well, there you go.
But like a paper one.
Yeah. So 1923, Worlds of Marvel. I know it's a different show. We don't want to give away the show. Anything stand out between those two compared to The Wish?
So 1923 is decorated differently. And then this was the night 2 menu that we had. And the night 2 menu had no steak, which was odd to me, like no steak signature entree or whatever.
Although there was lobster.
That's what I was going to say. There was lobster, like a full, like gorgeous giant piece of lobster that nobody at my table ordered.
Yeah, that was my mistake right there.
We had 3 of them in Norway. It was awesome. Ooh. Love it. Yeah. Worlds of Marvel. Anything stand out there? Anything different that you would point out?
The thing I would point out is maybe the show was different than we thought it would be. Maybe Amber loved it still, which I guess I can let her say, but it was different.
Okay. Amber?
Maybe somebody could just push fast forward for 30 seconds if they don't want to hear, but it was like a quiz game, like a Quizzo type experience. And you answer questions the whole time. And there's like color your little push the buttons thing is different colors. And so sorry, I hit the thing, but you answer questions with the different buttons. And that was like all of the show except for maybe 3 minutes.
Yes, the button thing is the quantum core that is on the Wish. It actually got me thinking. I loved it, but then I was like, well, man, the next time I go back, I already like, unless I go back years and years from now, I'm gonna already remember the questions. So it might not
Especially
be
you.
fun like the next time and the next time, unless they keep adding new questions they make like new movies.
That dessert was also amazingly delicious for me for my gluten-freeness. And so you tried that one too, Amber, and you said you liked it. That was like the cookie. There was like cookie crumbles and something else was happening there. I would probably skip the second night for myself now that I have seen it one time and I am aware. And I would just eat elsewhere on the ship and then return for dessert.
I mean, I would still go back because it was awesome. Again, spoiler alert, it's Baby Groot and he's playing 80s music. You know?
That did happen a lot.
And then there's just trivia. So my 3 favorite things, Baby Groot, trivia, and 80s music.
You know, you'll be a ringer next time you go back because you'll know all the answers. You'll know all the answers.
That would have been cool, like if you had like a score or like you compared to the rest of the restaurant, but fine.
So moving on then, Marceline Market, anything stand out different with Marceline Market, the Cabanas version on the Wish and the Treasure?
No, I think it was exactly the same. We barely ate there.
Okay.
Because there are tacos at Donald's Cantina.
Do they do breakfast stuff?
No, but we would just grab like a waffle or two because I ate 4 appetizers the night before for dinner.
Yeah, so Amber didn't go in very far, and I ordered my breakfast from the guy at the front door, so I don't walk in at all. And Amber like went to maybe where the kids section is and grabbed 2 waffles, or I don't even know if she had to go that far, some sauce, and then came out. And then the one day our head waiter got us Mickey churro waffles because I just assumed there would be a Mickey churro waffle day. And so I asked, when's Mickey churro waffle day? And he said, oh, it'll be the last day. And then he came back and goes, actually, it's not going to be served on this cruise. And I was like, what? He's like, but I asked them to make it. So hopefully you'll get it tomorrow. Report back. And they made it.
And they were delicious.
Those are so good. So good.
So Amber and I ate those together.
So finishing up with food then, the adult dining is Enchanté, Palo Steakhouse. I'm assuming they have a brunch at both of those options available, and possibly, I haven't looked into it, whether they'll have any type of specialty. Like I know on I'm like totally the fantasy and the dream and everything else where they have
like a dessert time.
Right. Yeah, the dessert time. So watch when you're checking in for your cruise, make sure when you're looking for the adult dining stuff, when you're checking in for cruise, make sure you look for those. We'll have to report back.
I'm doing something. I can't.
Christy's doing something. I'll say we walked into the Rose bar and it looked exactly the same. Beautiful. We didn't walk into Palo or Enchanté.
Okay. Well, let's keep with the bars then. Amber, you skipped out early to go and experience the Haunted Mansion bar. Did you get into the Haunted Mansion bar? I know that's a place that a lot of people are excited about.
I did. And because earlier there wasn't like a reservation system. Remember when Star Wars opened, you actually had to like book it on the app and stuff. And then a year later, they're like, nobody wants to come here. So you can just show up whenever you want. On this cruise, it was just like, show up whenever you want. And we went in
but it's also
there
closed.
Was 1,000 people in there. And it was like pitch black. So we walked right out. But then when I went at mid-dinner, there was like 3 people in there. It wasn't pitch black. I just like walked around, tried to take pictures, but it's still pretty dark for picture purposes. So I honestly didn't spend much time there. But I like it. I don't want to say way more than Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge because the Haunted Mansion bar is like things from the Haunted Mansion that you recognize. Like the ghost host is talking to you and stuff like that. Whereas Hyperspace Lounge, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, it's just like we're in space and it's kind of Star Wars, but it's not like characters or things you recognize. But it's a lot it's a lot lighter in there in Hyperspace Lounge than Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, other than the ships, in the space that you can kind of watch, but you definitely no characters to interact with or to listen to or whatnot. Did you try any of the drinks?
No, I just like walked in and ran out. I feel like Hyperspace has way more seating because didn't they have like curvy like booths in there? And this was just like old timey looking like armchairs. So Haunted Mansion seemed like way less seating, but it was still amazing and everyone should try to get in there at some point.
I think this is going to be a TBD experience that we're going to have to
Yeah, I
listen
have to
to
go back.
feedback after the ship's full and how much time you're going to be able to go. I did see somebody put up a sign where there was like 45 minutes, like try to limit your stay to 45 minutes.
Yeah, the sign did say that. I don't know if anybody was like kicking people out or not, but
Okay. Christy, I know one of our favorite places was Tiana's. This one is the Skipper Society. Let's move over there. Did you guys spend any time there, or what was some of the bars or spaces that you enjoyed?
Yeah, so we did trivia there and we listened to music there. I don't think Amber was with me the day that Dave and I listened to music there. And the one thing that is unique about these preview cruises is there are a bunch of travel agents hanging out with each other and just socializing and networking. And there was definitely a lot of that in all the spaces. So even though the ship was only half full, I do feel like all the adult only bars were very full every evening, like jammed with people. And that was the case still. So there may have been like cute little sticky things that occur at that bar because it's the Skipper Society and it's, Jungle Cruise, but we didn't get to experience that. And also, none of us were drinking. And so, obviously that made it a little bit different of an experience. I know when I go back on the Wish, I just looked it up in like 33 days, which is slightly daunting because I have to complete Dopey hopefully before
The
this cruise.
treasure. The treasure.
Oh, what did I just say?
The Wish.
Oh yeah, I did that the whole time that we were on this cruise. For some reason, it's just the Wish in my head. So we go on the treasure in 33 days and I will be with people and I will be back on the sauce. So I'll be able to experience some of these drinks and I will also be with people. Some of our listeners are going to be with us that also drink the beverages. So we will experience, I think, a little bit more of the bar scene that maybe was missed this time because A, it was crowded, or B, I wasn't drinking and things like that.
I will say the layout is exactly the same.
Exactly.
With the shops on either side.
And like just even the bar was exactly the same. They had those two like circly cool booths on the side, and then you walk down to where the stage is. It was exactly the same.
Yeah, and I want to spend more time in those circular booths because there's like little Easter eggs in there that I feel like I want to see.
I feel like there's Easter eggs all over the ship.
There are. And they're literally just random things. Like I watched that. I posted this on the pages and I might repost them coming up. But I watched the Disney Imagineer who talked about the carpet in the Grand Hall and how it's a fountain basically. And if you start at the top of the fountain, like you can see little fountain details and you go to the next level and there's like the middle of the fountain with more details, right? And this is all just in the carpet. So it's like a fountain in the carpet. And then you go to the bottom and then the fountain is like splashing off to the side. But then even in that, there's parts to the fountain that are like Abu as an elephant and like other little random things throughout. There's just so much to look at on this ship.
So the other two spaces that are kind of near is the Scat Cat Lounge, which is just right off the lobby. I saw Matt Grinke, who is an amazing pianist, and he is actually I don't know what they call it. He's like the head of Disney Cruise Line Music. And
Oh,
he was
really?
in there, yeah, he was in there playing when I saw some pictures when you guys were there that
We
you
talked to
took.
him.
Oh, did you? Yeah,
Like briefly.
I've heard him on podcasts. He sounds like an amazing guy. I love his music. Okay, Cat's Cat Lounge. Did you guys make it in there? And then there was the Periscope Pub also.
So Cat. Amber and I walked through it in like an open house time. So we got to hear him play. I actually took some video and I think he like played a little extra because he saw me videoing him. So I will post that at some point and as a reel. And then they displayed the specialty drinks of that restaurant. And like one of them has like a quarter or half of an Uncrustable on top of it. And then and this is just a part of the drink. And so, like I said, when I go back with our friends in January, I think they'll order some, and I might even order a couple. I can't obviously have an Uncrustable, but I will order some of the unique drinks too. But they had them all laid out. They look really fun. Definitely something I want to spend more time experiencing. We did not listen to music in there in the evenings. I feel like we were just playing trivia.
I mean, one of my skills is not sitting down and listening to music. So if that was what you want to do on this cruise, you shouldn't have invited me.
Well, this is why I don't know what Amber was doing at that one moment, but Dave and I got to listen to music for a few minutes and it was very nice.
Did you make it in the Periscope pub too? I saw something that was really cool where they've got like water and whales moving across the top, and they said that they got that from the Seas Pavilion, and then the water movement was actually filmed from the Treasure's sea trials.
Now,
Interesting.
we were in there a few times and I didn't see any water moving.
It was
but
like
maybe
above
I'll-
in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And
No,
the ceiling
maybe,
does have, it's like 3 or 4 curvy like screens.
maybe they didn't have it
Look
turned
like
on.
you're underwater. I did a trivia in there by myself. That was very cozy. And then we went back after dinner one night and there was like 12,000 people in there. And there were no seats, so then we left. And there was a lot of like travel agent meetings in there throughout the whole cruise, so we really couldn't go in there very much.
Or media events or whatever.
True.
So I want to touch on that at the end because Chrissy, you got to experience a couple of those, right? If there's something you talk
different.
about.
Not any
Okay.
of those things in the lounges with the doors that were closed, but yes, two
Right.
different events.
So let's talk about that at the end. You know, a small part about Disney, it's a very small part about Disney Cruise Line that people don't know, but kids are actually allowed on Disney Cruise Line, and some people are encouraged to bring them. But did you guys get to spend any time in the kid spaces? Is there anything different as far as the kid spaces? Did Blake say anything, Christy?
I don't think there was anything different. He enjoyed the edge though. And in the past, he was really concerned that he wouldn't like the edge as much on the Wish, like that the space was too small or something, or it was just too many video games. But he really liked it. He had the biggest smile. It was so cute. He still talks about this, but still as if it was like weeks. But he played foosball with Goofy one day in the edge. I'm pretty sure I don't know if there were other kids even there at that time, but and then they had a instant camera and they took a picture with him and Goofy, and then Goofy signed it. And this was during his time space at the edge. So there were a couple times where nothing was going on, but he enjoyed it. He enjoyed his time. They did crafts one day. He made me a treasure bracelet one day.
That's
Blake and
awesome.
I went to open house at Oceaneers Club, but it was only open house in the Marvel room and in the Star Wars room, because those are like off to the side. Oh, and like the childish like cruise line room, if that makes sense. And they were those 3
For
were
kids.
exactly the same.
And then we asked somebody and they said the rest of the rooms were the same.
The only difference
Is there a slide to get down there?
Yeah.
there is, we never got to do it because it was never available when we were.
I bet that first day, and I don't know what we were doing. Like, I know I unpacked and stuff, but I bet that day would have had an open house that you could have gone down the slide.
Probably. If you remember the Wish, when you walk down the stairs, it's like Alice in Wonderland themed, and this is Jungle Book themed. So slightly different theming there. But from what I could tell, the rooms looked very similar.
Let's run with the kids then just a little bit more up on top on the pool deck. I'm assuming the pools are all kind of similar up there. Obviously, there's the Aqua Mouse. Christy always loves getting on every water slide she can get on. Amber, did you get to experience it with her?
No, because first of all, it was pretty cold. And every time I wanted to go to the Aqua Mouse, it was closed for winds. So I'm really
We had some wind. Like somebody actually posted our last night had a 52 knots of winds or something. Yeah,
Ooh.
we were like shocked. I think we all were like, are we going to fall out of bed? At one point I got up to get Dramamine, and you had to like sort of brace yourself at times. Like that ship was rocking.
Yeah.
That
I'm
was the
really
last
bummed we
night.
didn't do Aqua Mouse, but all the other pools exactly the same. You know, there's like a pool here, you walk up some steps, more little pools, more steps, more little pools, around the back, more pool. Like all the pools are exactly the same as the Wish.
You know where we didn't go though? We didn't go to the Chip and Dale pool.
I did go there. It's exactly the same.
Okay. You double checked on it to make
Yes.
sure it was still good.
All the same.
Just
We
be
went to the
aware that
Cove.
that horn is up there by the Chip
I
and Dale
know.
pool if anybody's up there. Remember that, how loud it was? Yeah,
I think-
in the adult area back there.
Yeah, I feel like it must have been the same. It was so empty because it was really cold and windy the day we went back there. And what was the beginning of the cruise too? That day was just cold in Florida. But I feel like it's the exact same.
I mean, it's like Moana themed. I've been on the Wish Cove Cafe. Is that also Moana themed?
I only went back there once and I don't remember what it was. We just got our coffee off the lobby.
All those little lobby coffees are amazing now.
Oh, yeah, those are all totally different. I mean, they're
Yeah.
the same layout, but they're all themed totally different.
Yeah. And it's just great though to be able to go there and grab a coffee in the middle of the ship. Like and not have to go all over. Amber was asking, like, do you always drink the paid for coffee? And, is it that much better? And I said, well, when I first got it the first time on the Wish, it was because I forgot to get coffee and I was going to go for a run and I didn't feel like running up, to the top to get included pool coffee. And so I just grabbed espresso. But I'm like, so sometimes I grab it out of convenience. Like the last day of a cruise, I'll just grab it because it's on the way out the ship. But yeah, it is better coffee, obviously. And it's convenient.
I blame Nova. Nova got me hooked on it. So, well, I think that's like most of the main areas and things to touch on. Obviously, there's sense of spot. The gym is available on board the ship. I'm assuming that's all in the same spots. I don't know if you guys spend any time there.
No, we didn't. And I went to ask somebody. I'm actually going to see if they answered, which they did not. I was trying to see if anything about the spa was different, but I didn't get an answer to that question. And we forgot to go in there. Amber, did you go in there when you were?
No, I did not. I did go to the Wonderland Cinema, and I forgot what the other movie theater is called, but it's the same as the Wish. The Triton Lounge is up there too. That's exactly the same. That's like the super small one, not themed at all.
Sarabi. I
But
said
yes,
it right.
Sarabi.
Sarabi is that shared use D lounge-ish space that's on 2 floors. That was Luna on the Wish, and she is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning space with like the lion's mane around the stage. Really, really nice. So I think that's the same with spaces, but really quick before, because the show, of course, is 80 hours long. The entertainment, I guess, the theatrical shows, right? So we haven't talked about that. They are using the stage.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
No,
They're
go for it.
using the stage more in the Grand Hall. And there's one show that's the Indiana Jones. No, Skipper, Jungle
Yeah.
Skipper. It's a
Yeah.
Jungle Skipper, whatever show. And that one, if you're not participating, it's a little bit rough to watch, but like super fun that they came up with a show. And then I did see like 1 second of an Aladdin show on the little stage in the Grand Hall. And people were like just like sitting on the floor, and grown adults sitting on the floor in front of the stage. So I feel like the Disney suggested that people did that. And then Amber can talk briefly about the Indiana Jones show that we saw at Sarabi.
I'm not going to talk much about it because you just have to go see it, but it's ridiculous. You have to get there early to get a seat because it will fill up. And it's just these two performers that did all the other shows that Christy was talking about.
There's sort of a third performer, though.
That's true. That's true.
The guy to the side.
Yeah, there's like one singer and then like these 2 comedians. And it's just a ridiculous show. They just go through the five Indiana Jones movies in like 45 minutes and they just act it out, and it's a pile of nonsense. It's pretty funny.
There's props and it is fabulous. Like I would see it again. I think it'll even be better if you had some adult beverages with you and in your body, but it was amazing without it. It was, as a word that I used a couple times in our recordings, it was a bit unhinged. It just is like, it's so random.
It is so random. Like, first of all, I guess it's adventure themed. That's the whole point. But it's just like random. It's Indiana Jones. It's just everything about it is super random. It makes no sense and it's amazing.
Well, I love them stepping out and doing something different and maybe doing something, pushing the envelope a little bit of ridiculousness and fun. So let's finish on 2 different topics. One, the theater shows, obviously there's Seas the Adventure. And then is it Aladdin that's on there again? Or no?
No, there should be. Why isn't Beauty and the Beast, which is the 3rd show?
Yeah.
Why didn't they just switch it and put Beauty and the Beast on the Wish and put Aladdin on the Treasure? Why?
So Seas the Adventure, Beauty and the Beast, but once again, we won't give it away. You get to see the new Moana show, and I know what your thoughts are, but I'll let you explain it or express it.
I love this show so much. It needs to go to Broadway, and I would maybe go to Broadway to see it there, because Disney knocked this out of the park. Nova needs to book this cruise so that she can go on it. She would die. And all my friends who love Moana, I can't wait to like get their opinion. It is so good. So one of the things that you alluded to was that I got to go to travel agent meetings. And in one of them, they had a discussion about the Moana show and just how they really tried to culturally represent the South Pacific individuals in this production. And man, they like, from our standpoint, Amber and I were like, how did they find the grandma who wants to live on a cruise ship, who sounds and sings amazingly and like fits the role so perfectly? It is so good. It is so good. And I hope everybody goes to see it. And I might go twice on my next cruise. I think that is my plan. I am going to skip dinner that night, hopefully, and go see it twice. Or hopefully they have a matinee or something, because I need more of the show, because I want to see all the little things that you might miss. I cried.
Amber?
I did not cry, but yeah, it was pretty cool. It sounded exact like the actress who was playing Moana sounded exactly like her.
Obviously, just kidding.
And yeah, they did a couple things different, because when you think about Moana, you're like, how are they gonna make Maui's tattoos move, or how are they gonna make Te Fiti or the lava monster and Moana high-fiving the ocean, but they managed to do it in their unique, crazy way. So yeah, definitely recommend get there early. I mildly would recommend sitting on the third floor versus the balcony, because that some stuff falls from the ceiling at one point, and I would have liked to touch it because I like touching things per Christy. But we were on the balcony, fourth floor, which was fine. But I think I would want to sit in the third floor next time.
Yeah, we were there early enough that we probably could have gotten one of those seats that was like right behind that middle bar that's on the first floor, which would still give me like a seat feeling like a little bit away from the people. So
Tips, get there early for these shows?
I don't know about all the rest, but get there early for Moana for sure.
I mean, every time I'm on a full cruise, I always get there a half hour early and then hang out, and I get a good seat. So yeah, definitely for Moana, because everyone's going to go because it's brand new.
And it's amazing.
I'm glad DCL was able to find their way home with this show. So
nice.
I tried.
Good job there.
Yeah. All right. Before we wrap this up, Christy, you get to attend a couple different meetings. Anything stand out? Any inside baseball stories that they were able to tell you about the ship?
I think part of the things that was great was that the creators of the ship and the entertainment loved it so much. Disney put their heart and soul into the ship, and you could feel it listening to them speak. I do have some recordings, so if you ever had an interest in joining our Patreon, now might be the time, because during some of the time that different individuals spoke, I did some voice recordings that are going to go up exclusively to those feeds, mostly because I don't want to make it a public recording. They didn't say you can't record it, but also I'm not going to put it on my podcast. It's really good.
Patreon.com/DCL Podcast. Check it out.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. What have we missed? I can't believe I missed the shows, and Nova's probably kicking me right now.
Okay.
What else anything else that we missed? No?
I don't think so.
I think we nailed it.
Then let's wrap it up with this. Final thoughts, Amber. You said this might be your favorite ship. Final thoughts about the Treasure. What maybe give our listeners one thing to maybe seek out when they get on board the Treasure, something that really stood out in your mind?
Oh man, I guess just all the lounges and bars that were different. Like if you've never been on the Wish, then everything's different for you, and seek it all out. But for me, it was fun to just see Skipper Society and all the fun stuff on the wall. Scat Cat Lounge with all the hidden cats everywhere. Periscope, I want to spend more time there. Those three were really, and then the lobby. There's just art all over the lobby. It was beautiful. Maybe Christy will get another cruise that I can mooch my way onto to experience more of it.
Christy, your final thoughts on the Treasure?
She 1,000% exceeded my expectations. I'm not going to say I was lukewarm to this ship, but I may have been slightly lukewarm to the ship. And now my expectations were exceeded. I will say that for the next cruise, I am going to bring, I have these little, we want to end on a positive, and this is a positive, but it's a tip. It's not a positive, but it's a tip. If you have people that are noise sensitive, and maybe even for some of the dinner shows, I am going to bring my little tiny earplugs that help to dull some of the sounds that I bought to go to a concert. Don't make fun of me too much. And it's not full earplugs, but it just helps dull the sound. And I am going to bring those on my next cruise. I added them to my packing list at some point, because some stuff was just a little bit loud, and I am noise sensitive, as we know. So add that to your packing list with your hanging cube for your clothes since you have nowhere to put your underwear. But other than the fact that they took away storage, she is stunningly beautiful cruise ship, and Disney really did an amazing job. And I am a little less bitter about how Disney's going all in on these themes because they did it so successfully on the Treasure.
Ooh, you know what we forgot is the ice cream shop up on deck 11.
Yeah.
That it's themed after Zootopia.
Okay.
And it's amazing.
We didn't buy anything from there. Not only did we not buy anything, we had a free coupon and still didn't buy anything from there.
Listen,
For one,
I've never once bought anything from those stores, and I still love them because they're just so saturated with a ridiculous theme. And I love that they took the fact that they made popsicles and Zootopia for 2 minutes and they made a whole store out of it. It was amazing.
Amber kills me.
Pro tip, where to get your ice cream, Amber?
Steve, I didn't have one ice cream this whole cruise.
What? No ice cream.
Well, first of all, like I said, it was cold.
Yeah.
And I was just full of tacos the whole time.
But that's good food
But she
too.
said she'd get like one taco. I don't understand.
It was really big. And then I stole a lot of Blake's fries, which he was not a fan of, and they were delicious. I never got my own fries though.
And then we're ending on fries.
I knew we get it in there at some point.
Come full circle.
Come full circle. All right, Christy, you said next cruise, the inaugural cruise of the Disney Treasure is heading out over Christmas. That cruise is booked up, but there are many cruises after that people can book. She's sailing exclusively 7-night Eastern and Western Caribbean cruises. And if somebody wants to book a cruise, how can they get a hold of you, Christy?
They should find me all over the internet at Pack Your Pixie Dust website. You can email me at Christy@packyourpixiedust.com. My email address is in the show notes, and I'd be happy to help you. Or if you are working with another travel agent, definitely give them a call. They can help you as well. But if not, I'd be happy to help.
And if you book one of those larger concierge rooms or one of those family verandas and you only have 4, Amber and I are always available to travel with you and your family too. So feel free to reach out to us.
I'll meet you at the port.
Don't do that, so much. Don't do that. Do not.
Well, thank you guys so much for letting me be part of this tonight. I was like I didn't get to actually watch all your social media posts while you guys were on. So I was busy with the swim meet this weekend. But it was fun to be able to hear your guys' thoughts on just an amazing ship that I cannot wait to get on myself.
I will start bombarding Instagram tomorrow with my photos. By tomorrow, I mean Tuesday, December 17th. So who knows when you'll be listening to this podcast.
Well, it won't be tomorrow because
it's
not going up until maybe the end of the week at the minimum. But we will make a story highlight on both Pack Your Pixie Dust Instagram and DCL_podcast Instagram to see the different posts that each of those Instagrams post about the Disney Treasure. So you can check those out at a later date to get whenever you want. But we answered some questions and, we'll keep posting as the week goes on and weeks go on.
And once again, if you want to listen to those inside baseball, there's a little sports theme there, what some of the stuff that Christy heard, you can go to patreon.com/DCL Podcast and sign up there to help support the show. We appreciate each and every one of you who are Patreon supporters and just our listeners that come back each and every week to listen to the show. So once again, thanks, ladies, for having me with you tonight. Christy, I'll let you close us out. And I look forward to, I guess I just want to say this to everybody. Have a happy holidays, Mele Kalikimaka, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all the celebrations, Happy Festivus. And thanks again for having me on.
I think that's a perfect way to end it. Thank you, Steve, for joining us. And that'll do it for this episode of the DCL Podcast. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed our recap of the Disney Treasure. We absolutely loved our time on board, and I cannot wait to return. My next cruise on the Treasure is in about 28 days, and I can't wait to give you even more content about all the things there is to do on this amazing ship. We appreciate you listening. We hope that you and your family have happy holidays. On behalf of myself, Blake, Steve, and Amber, we wish you smooth sailings and safe travels, and we'll see you next time on the DCL Podcast. Thanks, everyone.
The DCL Podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.